You live. It's gonna give me something. Zero.
Pro, dude.
This is one of those sessions where it's okay to drink beer. It's events, we have all that. All right.
We are live.
We ready?
We are ready.
Fantastic. Thanks y'all for coming. I don't know if we need to keep the door open or not. It's fine. I project very well, so if they hear me down the halls and want to come in, listening to my sweet, sweet voice, we'll welcome them. I'm really excited. I'm really grateful that Mass Challenge has invited me to come talk to all of you about the work that I do with my company, Player Media. I'm very involved into the tech scene here in town as well. We'll get into all this, who's this 12-year-old talking to me nonsense in the next slide. But if you're here, it's because you like events or you have to actively participate in events and you want to know how to really maximize that experience, because usually you're spending money to come to these things, you're investing your time, and you want to make sure that the people that you meet remember you, outside of just a business card, outside of just an email, thanks for coming kind of thing. You want to make sure that you have everything you need in terms of preparation, in terms of promotions, and maximum exposure. So I actually had a talk similar to this last year for Media Tech Week. Paul O'Brien's a partner of mine for the Founder Institute, which we'll talk about. And it was more focused to like music brands and entertainment. So I took some variations of that. I'll open up with a story about my first company that I started here in Austin, and a really crazy damn event we threw on it to really promote from a marketing standpoint, a guerrilla marketing standpoint, as we launched. And then we'll get into some mechanics, more specific. But by the end of this, I'd really like it if y'all just ask questions, throw them at me, because it's not going to be a perfect talk. It's going to be very focused on some single day kind of events. Maybe it's not really trade show focused, it's not conference focused, but you'll be able to take a lot of these things out from what I have outlined. And if you start scaling and you look to hire an event professional, I'll show you what you need to look for too. So let's start. Who the hell am I? My name is Martinez, and I know what you're thinking. Some of you can roll your R's, others can't. Just call me Martine. It's more fun to say after a shot of tequila. Or none, coffee too. By the end of it, I'll teach y'all how to roll your R's. And if not, ask one of your native Spanish speakers how to do it. Just I made a whole room of 500 people do this during South by. I've been, depending on which paradigm I ask, I'm either a 5th or 7th generation Texan. So I'm born of the dirt. I think I have some Comanche blood in there somewhere, but spent most of my life growing up in San Antonio, lived a handful of years as a teenager in Dallas, moved back to San Antonio, and I've been in Austin ever since. So went to the University of Texas, took everything I could. I studied architecture, Italian, the classics, business. If I stayed another semester, I probably would have tacked on an economics major too. So spent as much time as I could there, absorbed everything I could. But I was also a bartender as well, to pay the bills and just be social and not have to pay for the drinks in college because, ramen expenses are tight. So I got really dialed into the event scene here in Austin very early. My first day on the job was South by Southwest. That's a story for another day. Though great experience, I was just in awe of how events can really bring people together and provide these intimate, serendipitous experiences that you can't do through a digital marketing campaign, that you can't do through a social media post. You can integrate all that, but there's nothing that will equal the experiences you can do as a business, as a brand, in a real world event environment. So started out of college at Facebook. I was one of the first 5 inside sales reps there here in Austin when they started expanding in 2012. We were selling a cheap daily deal product, which failed in 6 months. So my whole team of 5 got fired in 6 months. And then I hopped over to Google and sold their Groupon clone as well. We spent a good year doing that. But in 18 months, and these is feelings that I'm sure y'all are having as you're building your companies, is that you might be sleeping under your desk. You might just be worried about what's to come the next day because you already changed an entire thought process at 8 a.m. that day. And then you're rethinking what your whole life existence is by noon. And then you have something completely different you've done by the end of the day that made it feel like 8 a.m. this morning was a week ago. So those are those are instances in the tech world that I experienced working at Facebook and Google, and now as I work with startups, I run the Founder Institute here as a managing director. We try to instill that same level of enthusiasm and work ethic into every company that graduates from our program. Some of which are Mass Challenge, in Mass Challenge right now. So if y'all met Sarah Britton of Penguino Travel, she was one of our recent grads, and current Jennifer Drew of Tiny Heights is currently in our program as well. As it says, I started 2 companies. My first one was called Jellify. First thing I realized is don't make up the name because it's hard to spell, hard to say. Lessons learned, right? So my second company shows up right at the top of any directory, any player media. And I can get in a little more of that later, but basically I stole the brand name from Steve Jobs, who stole it from Jack Welch. So a bunch of thieves. But we do a lot of creative events and brand work. So we do a lot of events. We probably do around close to 100 events a year outside of just work with the Founder Institute. So we're currently in our spring session right now, and it's a very tough program. I started with 30 students 4 weeks ago. I have 15 right now. I'll kick out another 5 by next week. So we'll have about 10 really qualified companies that graduate from it. It's a very rigorous thing. But if you're already here in Mass Challenge, I don't think you need to take the FI program. I think y'all are doing pretty well for yourself. So great job on making it through this program, or we hope to see you all the way through and beyond. So we are expanding statewide. Mass Challenge will be an integral part of that expansion plans as we go statewide. But I'm excited about it, so I just got to do a ton of events throughout the state and get to talk to brilliant people like you. I also I love events. That's why I'm here. I've produced conferences, I've done trade shows, I've been on the road, probably what some of y'all are doing right now, just a little tabletop, that's it, that's all you got, no budget, just bouncing from trade show to trade show. I've done that, been to that ringer, and I've also produced my own, so I know a little bit what I'm talking about, just a little bit. And I love South by. If you hang out with me just for 2 days during South by, I'll teach you my rules. That's another conversation for another day. But by that third day, you're texting me like, I got into the thing that I couldn't get into. This is great. So follow me around next year. You'll enjoy it. This was just a sampling of some of the work I've done. So Xenos is my last real official job before I took the leap and started another company. Was launching their first user conference a few years ago. Galaxy. We had about 300 attendees. We had the futurist Michio Kaku speak at the keynote. It was really cool. It was a fun experience for me. I got to live at the W for a week, so I didn't mind. This is a Founder Institute event we did at Antone's last summer, and just recently during South by, I got to work with some of my favorite bands like Fanagram, Local Natives, Gary Clark Jr., those kind of things. So I'm all over the place. All over the place. If I think it's a cool event, I want to do it. If there's cool partners that I get to work with, I want to work with them as well. Some of these are my own design. Others are just partnering and just enhancing their production needs from start to finish. Just recently, I did the TED conference last week. Crap, now I got to remember, I got to do an Instagram post to remind myself on that for the company. But I just acted as kind of guest and speaker relations. So I'm just kind of managing the green room, making sure everybody's having fun. Those are kind of the things that when you get to a certain point as an event professional, you have to get you're really good at, even when you're hungover or just feeling like crap. You got to just be able to turn it on and be cool throughout the entire space, and not just in the suave sense. Just like be cool, be chill. So let's talk about my first company. It'll be a fun, quick story. Then we'll get into the mechanics, and then we can really start drilling into why you're in this room, why you think event marketing is important to your business as you scale it out from a brand standpoint. See you later, brother. So Jellify, I made it up with my co-founder. I was staring like at a jellyfish fish tank on Kickstarter. That'd be cool if we had a jellyfish in our future office. And Jellify, just made up the name. But we were an event software platform for event producers like myself and my co-founder. We wanted to build a one-stop shop for event producers, brands, vendors to connect. Because you have to have a Rolodex of partners, sponsors, vendors. And if you're doing it the first time, it's very challenging. So we tried to build a platform that allowed that to happen. It was an amazing 18 months. And I'll tell you about my launch party. So that was me. If you recognize the font, you'll see it in a minute. But my coup de grace, as we were launching the product, was I got our company on MTV for a reality TV show. I was sitting in one sober coffee bar late night. Well, they closed at 7, so it was right at the end. And I see a tweet from a Culture Map article, took me to a Craigslist ad, introduced me to a producer for MTV and based out in LA. Within two weeks, he's shooting. We're just doing this. And we had to really fast track development. We had to build this crazy marketing campaign filled with events and stunts for this show. And I had to ghost produce this kind of 3-arc or this 3-act kind of reality show. You know, we started by asking our angel investor, which was my co-founder's father at the time, for money. And he's like, nope, not going to give you money. Go out and try and raise it. So Act 2, but I had 300 people show up in 6 hours because we told them that there might be like something going on outside of Kung Fu Saloon on West 6. This is something that we did just to promote the party, or to promote the show. So we did a jazzercise flash mob and just started at the base of Congress and worked our way up. It was an interesting thing. It was a good setup for the show. But Act 2, you recognize some of these faces. There's the co-founder, there's me, with my great, awesome hair. And we asked Josh at Capital Factory, like, hey, you mind Shark Tanking us? Don't be gentle. And they did. Act 2 was terrible. Oh, they beat the crap out of us. But to be honest, we didn't deserve to be in the room. Like we didn't have programs like the founders did. We didn't have programs like Mass Challenge. So there was a lot of things that we were messing up on. But it made for great TV fodder. Made for good ratings. So after that, we retooled a little bit, but we couldn't really let us get beat up after that experience because we had a party to throw because our beta was about to launch. So Brazos Hall took care of us. I had 3 fashion shows in this thing. We had 4 performing artists. We had a crazy assortment of sideshows, circus performers, just live painting. It was. I still talk to people about this event. And they're like, "That was you?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's Hug. That's Hug. That was our event." And we had 1,400 people show up with about 3 weeks of planning because it was about a 6-month or a 6-week shoot for this MTV show. And then when the show aired, we finally had gotten out of beta into the full launch of the product, but 6 months later we had run out of money. So that was the end of Jellify. We ended up just kind of selling off. My co-founder kind of bought me out and repurposed the base technology, and it's now a marketplace building platform for people that want to create like a little Airbnb style website. So it's custom on that. We're still very close, and we're organizing the boat Trail of Lights at the end of this year. So if you like boats and you like lights, this is an event you should go check out. So that was fun. We learned a lot. I took all of that energy that Facebook and Google gifted me, and we threw all of it into this company. And in the end, we learned a lot about how to produce an event from start to finish in a way that's going to be meaningful. It gave people feeling. People still tell me about this event, like 5-6 years ago, and how it made them feel, and how much they wanted to be a part of whatever brand or whatever product we were doing. So it's possible. And we did it under less than $10,000 in budget. 1,400 people, under 10 grand. I know how much that showcase is that y'all are having in a couple weeks, and they'd kill for that kind of budget, something to pull off on it. So you'll see me there too. I'm helping out. But yeah, you can look it up. MTV. I'm starting to visit my friends. I'm not lying. It's brutal. It's brutal. I basically cut myself out of it. We look at the dailies at the end of the day. And I was like, this ain't looking good, y'all. But it's going to be great. Like our website traffic spiked. We got 30,000 users the day it aired. And in the end, the climax was we actually got accepted in the Microsoft BizPark program. So we got like 200 grand in Azure support for 2 years. We only got to use it for a year. But we could handle the traffic. So it was a win. And again, if there were programs like this, maybe we would have figured something else out. But I'm glad these programs exist now. And I'm glad that I'm able to be at least an active participant in fostering, proper structure, proper development of the entrepreneurial community. So it's a new clicker, so I'm like tripling on it. So this is the new company, A Player Media. Creative brands and events. We love music. I love music. Music's always been a part of my life. So I'm slowly trying, maybe next year, if y'all are still in Austin, when we do these crazy Mass Challenge Founder Institute events, there'll be like some really dope artist that's going to perform that you won't know about until like the day of. So you'll really create that. And I'll show you, I'll tell you some stories about some recent stuff I've done. But this is what I've been working on for the last 2 years in conjunction with the Founder Institute. Heavy in events, that's all we do. We do a lot of video, photo production as well. So if you're looking for really great event photographers, if you're looking to create event recap videos, you know, we work with brands to create those experiences because that's content you need that you'll see as we get into the mechanics of this now on how to truly take advantage of an event, of either your own design or if you're actively participating either at a trade show or as an attendee, these kind of things. You'll start to think a little bit differently at the next event you're going at. These are some of the partners I've had recently. So Arlen Studios, I do a music showcase there. I've been doing that for the last couple of years. MCing, guest relations, artist relations, those kind of things. You saw, we had an event last year at Antone's for FI. And I do a lot of work with Native Hostel. So if y'all been to Native, it's a really awesome space. That's where that Fanogram show was at. Just recently at the TEDx, and then some other clients as well. But yeah, your logo can be right there, right there. Save some space for you. Save space for you. This is just this year. We're constantly adding on that, and I'm really excited about where this company is going to go in the next 2-3 years as we really build out the brand in the way that we want. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. Why do people go to events? Why would you want to go to an event? To engage in customers, of course. You want new business. You want to get funding. But these are baseline objectives that nobody ever really considers from a fundamental marketing perspective. Things that you need to understand for even deciding to throw down $1,000 for a ticket or 10 grand for a table or just going to see if you can network. What are your objectives? New contact acquisition? Are you looking to get new customers? If so, how many? How many potential meetings can you have at an event like that? Are you setting up the engagement properly too? How are you reaching out to them, let them know, hey, I'm going to be at this event, it'd be great if we grab coffee, or head out to a trade show floor, all these kind of things. Nurture, pipeline acquisition. Maybe you already have people in your pipeline outside of the cold calling that you want to touch base with when they're there. Hey, we're hosting a happy hour at this place outside of the convention center. We have limited wristband tickets. I have a couple for you. Would love to have you there. Bring a friend, those kind of things. Get them through the funnel. You all know where your funnels are, so who's at that stage? Who can you push along a little bit further down to make that sale, to close that partnership, to secure that sponsorship, whatever it is. Training. Maybe you have employees that need to go to this event so they can understand either what you do or how to do their job better. So you'll invest in your employees to send them these things, to make sure that they're getting the max. Maybe you just got on a Salesforce. And your Salesforce, your CRM person's been working on Google Docs for the last 2 years. They're going to migrate to Salesforce? Damn, it's going to be a lot of work. Send them to Dreamforce. It's worth a $1,600 ticket. Because they're going to come back a Salesforce fucking master. Damn Ninja, all those stupid titles. So, training. Maybe there's just some interesting keynotes you want to live tweet. Market research. So maybe you're not that market yet. One of our founders that graduated in the fall, he's building an industrial size 3D printer that's twice as fast as anything on the market. However, he wasn't ready to finish the prototype yet up until this past month. At the end of the year, there was a massive 3D printing trade show. And he's like, oh, we're not ready yet, I can't get a tail. I'm like, just go. Just go and go see where your competition is. Go talk to people. You don't even really have to tell them what you're doing. Just say you're there. You want to get a feel of the experience. You're really interested in 3D printing. And take notes. Take copious notes of who's doing what. Take their white papers. Give them a phony email. I don't know. Just do that. Just figure out what you can do to get as much information as you can from your competition, from potential partners, and what the market looks like at large. These are all things that, surprisingly, not a lot of companies do, especially ones that are just finally getting marketing budgets. So we're going to start throwing some money at events, because again, events are expensive. But if you know how to do them right, or you stumble into it, then not so much. But you have to be able to understand these things and structure it in a way that's going to be advantageous to you, your business, and how you present yourself as a brand. So the funnel. This is a show I did at Native just last month. If anybody recognizes these guys, a couple friends of mine, they're hip-hop artists, rappers, who started a band called Black-A-Lack, and that's Gary Clark Jr., who's producing that album. So we had a really dope show for them at Native Hostel in February, Yeah, so much crazy buzz. And we didn't tell anybody about it. We just knew who we wanted to come. And we knew just through our brand who was going to come, who was going to show up, because they knew we do dope shit. That's awesome. But when you're thinking about your marketing funnel, in terms of promotions, organization, how you curate an event, 3 to 6 months out is what you need to start considering, especially if it's of your own design. If you're trying to build your own little event, maybe it's a happy hour. It doesn't have to be 3 months out. You know, if you're doing something small, if it's something like a few hours, like an event with some kind of engagement process, or if it's like a day of thing, sometimes you'll organize luncheons, those kind of things. Really put it on the calendars. Just get it down. Now, 6 months, that might be a little too much planning for you unless you're really dialed into until what your year of planning is going to look like. But 3 months is going to be ideal, because then you already have set dates. You can work out with a venue, you can work out with sponsors, whatever, and then just build up to that. You start promoting 4 to 6 weeks out. Just save the date. People, important business people, I see this with FI all the time. When I'm at events, I'm trying to get all these mentors or speakers, and they're probably at one of y'all's events, or they're at something at Capital Factory. So a lot of these really important people are usually triple booked. So you got to get it on the calendar and promote it 4 to 6 weeks out. However, I get the question a lot too, is it make sense to advertise? Yeah, it does, but you don't want to waste money on advertising, any kind of paid advertisement, until about 3 weeks out. Because then I'm starting to think, if I'm an attendee, what am I going to do in the next 2 weeks? I'm always thinking a couple weeks down on the calendar. And oh yeah, no, that Wednesday's booked, or no, that Thursday's booked. But if you start advertising 3 weeks out, it's going to be top of mind for me. And you really hammer it home on that final week. Hype. That's why I say hype. Really just start 1 week from now. So with this Gary show, I actually put just a Facebook invite 4 weeks out, just saying, come. It's gonna be an awesome show. We're not gonna tell you until 24 hours before who it is. And I also put a caveat. You know, Facebook is always it moves with the weather. So right now, you put in a CTA in the Facebook invite, saying click going to subscribe for updates, so it pops up in your notification feeds. That's how I have a general idea of who's interested in my event. Not just I'm interested, but I'm going, because I'm going to give you. I'm going to open the door a little bit so you can give me notifications. You don't get those notifications when you're interested in the event, only when you're going. So you make that a big call to action. But then, a week out, I drop an Eventbrite. Now I'm doing some actual capturing. So anybody that subscribed to those updates by clicking going on a Facebook invite, I now redirect to a Splash That page to make it easy on the way out. I do that in my class all the time, so it's a way to put them on check. So week out, Eventbrite now. I'm getting first name, last name, any other ancillary details. If you've already clicked I'm going on a Facebook invite, you're going to give me more information when I give you a physical Eventbrite listing to get a ticket. Because now you've gone through all these other steps. You're really committed. Now there might be an attrition rate about 30-40% on that, so you want to just really be very clear and really put out some exclusivity on these things. We'll stick with Eventbrite. Have an X amount of early birds. Actually enough to where within 24 hours you're we're out of early birds. So it's crap, I need to get on this. I'm not going to procrastinate. You got to drive that FOMO. You're the one dictating how many tickets are out, how many people you want. So you just have to really manufacture this, I am going to miss out experience. I'm going to get on it now. Here's my phone number. Here's my email. Now you got an email address now. It's like the Holy Grail. How many of y'all need emails? Just build that database out so you can get a lot of it out of that. And then that day of, hype. 24 hours before, hype. So I already have everybody's emails on the Eventbrite list. 24 hours before the show starts, I drop that. It's hey, this is Gary Clark Jr.'s newest production with Zelia franchise. And now the people that have already said I'm going on Facebook have already given me more contact information on Eventbrite, get that email, their inbox at noon during lunch, and they're holy shit, I'm glad I got a ticket. And they're going to tell their next 3 or 4 friends, you need to come here now. Their tickets are flying up, they're gone. But by that point, yeah, I'm sold out. But I manufactured how many tickets I wanted. I may open it up a little bit more. But you don't have to, because you've already created all of this build-up until you finally get to the actual major showcase. So, day after, once it's all said and done, you got to follow up with them. Say thank you. Just say thank you for coming. be on the lookout for any content I might have on the way out. Either photos, videos, announcing tour dates for them, say thank you to the band, and then a week after, drop some recap and highlights. So either it's a photo album, either it's 30-second sizzle reel, all things I can do for you. But those are things that still reinforce that memory you just gave those people, that feeling. You want everybody to leave the room that night and feel something. They want to wake up saying, damn, I'm glad I spent my evening with you. Question?
The decision of not sharing the artist was specifically for this event, or is something that you do recurring though?
Think how South by does it. Like they won't drop that Elon Musk is speaking at the W until 4 a.m.
Okay.
And then what happens? There's a line wrapped around the block at the W the day of Elon Musk is speaking. So you just have to really know. Like maybe you have an interesting speaker. Maybe you have an interesting product you're going to invent. Some kind of announcement. Tease it out. So it's applicable. But the experience that we're going to provide, whatever thing you wanted them to go home and feel, was them. You can really replicate this in many different ways. But this is just how the funnel works. You can replicate this funnel. I'm just using that example because it's still top of mind. And it adds for a good slide.
How do you decide on paid versus free events?
It's going to be up to your budget and whether or not you actually have enough brand clout to charge. So, like, that event was free. Because we knew we get the right people in the room, the next one, they'll pay. But a good mentor always told me, you want to break even on the first event you do. You want to be able to not just break even on the second time around, but maybe pay out some of the people for a little higher quality production or the support staff that volunteered. Try and get as many volunteers as you can. People that believe in you. People that help spread the word. The third time you want to try and make money. So, because if you're at it doing it 3 times over, you already have a following that's been there the first 2 times. And you know they're going to come again. And they're going to tell 2 or 3 of their friends to come too. And maybe it's not an entertainment experience. Maybe it's a conference that you've actively participated at, or spoken at, or had a booth at. So things to consider, like the measuring and the tracking too as you get into it. You already have all these data points now from the RSVP list. A lot of people just send a Facebook invite, then forget about it. They think they're done. But you have no way to actually measure who actually showed up. You don't have any other solid data points, because Facebook owns all that, not you. You got to own that information. You got to own what information you want to get out of these people too. And on site, you can do this. You can take extra information. Maybe all you need is a phone number, email address, first and last name. But talk to the attendees. Ask them how they heard of it. More often than not, it's like a friend told me, or I subscribed to your Facebook updates. Those kind of things. Measure and track. Talk to people. So many times I see event people not talking to a single person. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what are you doing? I know it's a stressful thing. I'm going to diverge a little bit, but Google, you can do it, not here because I want your attention, but Google when you get back to your desk. Top 5 most stressful professions. Career.com always puts that out every year. The first 4 are obvious. Marine infantryman, beat cop, firefighter, airline pilot, event producer. It's a stressful job. So finding people that can actually lead, look it up. I don't know. It's so just tracking, talking. There's an experience to that. Understanding how the crowd's moving. You got to be watching the crowd, see how they react. I'm looking at all of you simultaneously to see if you're actually responding. You think I'm full of shit. I am. I do that in my class all the time. I can see if somebody's wincing. I don't have to look at you. I can just feel you. So you have to be really acute to that. Own the coverage. So we invited some people in the press. I think there was a press one earlier today. Right? You all have like a PR one? Yeah. So yeah, when you make those contacts, you're like, hey, I got a couple reserved. I know you didn't RSVP. I would love to have you here. And then boom, they'll show up and do some awesome write-up. They'll show up with photographers, those kind of things. But you got to own the network. You got to own the coverage. So when it comes out, bam, yeah. It wasn't 360. That's dope. That's dope. And you create the FOMO online. So we're already talking about that mechanic, the mechanics of all that. So you own that. Own the FOMO. Make people really pissed off that they missed it. I love going to the live Instagram feeds of people just like, holy shit, I did not know Gary Clark Jr. was going to be here. And they start like putting it out. They start just like live streaming this shit. And all their friends are just commenting, oh my God, why did I not go? What is wrong with my life? Like, what did I do to deserve this? You should have shown up. So the digital coverage as well. Maybe have a trending hashtag of some sort so you can find it later on. But own all of that. And then content. I can't say it more. What's the point of an event if your Pixar didn't happen, right? You can have the feeling, but to reinforce those feelings, especially for people that want to share it and be proud of that they're in a space like that, or they got to see some dope product unveiling, or they got to meet some awesome speaker that you invited, you want to be able to share that with them. So, you know, a lot of event people or people that want to do events, they forget to just hire a photographer or even just pull out their phone and take photos, surprisingly enough. Video can even go a long way too. I always encourage partners and clients to create some kind of highlight sizzle reel after the fact. It's a little bit of an investment in terms of shooting and editing, but it's worth it. Because then you can show, hey, this is what we did last year, or this is what we did, we're going to plan to do for the following year, because you have something to really show for it. And people engage just naturally, as you all know, with video a lot more than they do with stills. So you want to own them both. And then give it to your partners. So like Native, you know, they shared the shit out of this. You know, the photos, same thing. Video, let the network generate organic marketing buzz for you too. So share that content. Be open with it. Say, please share and tag. Those kind of things. And again, say thank you. Say thank you at the event. When people come and talk, when you say, like, some people just come up to you and say, thank you for putting this on. Say, no, thank you for coming. Thank you all. Say thank you. A lot of stressed out event producers on days up, they don't say thank you to anybody. And I'll show you in another slide what to look for and what to avoid when you're looking for somebody who's skilled at events. So hire an event pro. Let's let you absorb that for a second because I'm a little harsh. I want some beer. Now, I'm not being cute when I say that though. I one of the first Arlen Studios South by show I did. It's like a 12-hour event, and doors open at noon. We officially close at midnight, but we really don't close until like 4 a.m. because it's in a really awesome recording studio. And it's 3 days straight. So you can only imagine the stress or just the amount of sensory things. So by the third day, I'm kind of fried. And one of my like lower organizers is really kind of screwing up our after our late party kind of programming. And one of my mentors, his name's Jeremy, brilliant man, just pulls me aside and just says, "What's wrong with you? Get your shit together." Because you look stressed out. You know, you're running around. You look frustrated. You look flustered. I never did that ever again. Because everybody can see that. Everybody can see you, the organizer, is stressed out. Something's obviously wrong. You have to be the coolest motherfucker in the room. All the time. That's a challenge. So if you're looking for somebody in the event space, I would say take them to an event. See how they behave. Have them volunteer for an event for you first. See how they behave. If you're going to be working registration, you can't look flustered. If you have people on point it might be volunteers, it might be interns, it might be your second in command. I don't know. I don't know how y'all's teams are structured. But the first point of contact you get in an event, that person also has to be as cool as hell. Because they're the first person you see. Think of it like the hospitality industry. Like y'all are doing the showcase of the JW Marriott. I love the way the JW Marriott treats anybody that walks in, especially the people that are staying with them. Open hands. You'll never see a JW Marriott employee point. Pointing's rude. So people are asking, hey, where's this person? Or when's that going on? Or where's the bathroom? Open hand. Subtle things that can take an experience to the next level. That shows the people that are organizing this event care. That they're listening to you. These are real subtle things. There's a book on the founder of the Marriott, and he, again, I forget the name. I wish I had it. But he details all these little hospitable things that just make an experience that much more meaningful to a person that's coming for this. They might be paying you money. So think about all these little details, and that's what an event professional will do. They have strong spatial awareness. They know where everybody is all the time. All the time. Like if I know like my person at the check-in desk has to go to the bathroom, I know who's already going to be there. If not, it's me. Those kind of things. Be aware of that. Never look. It goes back to being cool. Just being cool. Like if you don't know where that person is, don't be like, where is this person in the middle of a crowded room? And that's the difference that I see at so many different events for partners, friends, whatever, where they have somebody that just looks completely stressed out. I've caught a couple people crying in the bathroom, guys and girls. It's like, what are you doing? Get back out there. We need you at the front desk. those kind of things. I guess just the stress can be overwhelming sometimes because you're dealing with a lot of people. So hopefully all of y'all like people. Some people just don't like people. Like I would never put an accountant in an event position because they don't want to deal with people. They just want to crunch numbers. So it's a personality type you have to consider. And be mindful if maybe on your team y'all don't have that guy. So y'all have to be very conscientious of each other, your moods. But y'all are the hosts. Y'all have to be always in control. Names, dates, faces. It's an exercise I have to do all the time. But you look people in the eyes, you say, thank you for coming. It's great to see you, even if you met them the first time. A little politicking thing. Never say, nice to meet you. It's just great to see you. It's great to see you. Thank you for coming. We'll be expecting you. Those kind of things. All subtle. It's all subtle. But do that at other events. Next happy hour you go to, next networking event you go to, tomorrow, tonight, whatever. Just really try to remember names. Remember faces. Because a lot of times if they're at your event too, you want to know where you met them. A great host, a great event professional will know where he met you or where she met you and connect you both on some fundamental thing that y'all didn't even know y'all had in common. And then, bye, and just keep walking. And just keep walking. And now you've fostered a connection that only took you about 5 seconds. But you have spatial awareness, you remember names, you remember dates, you remember faces. And you knew you wanted to introduce those two people. Then you keep going. Me as an event professional, I never spend more than 2 minutes in any given space. I'm always moving around. Because 2 minutes, it can be make or break from a band going on time, to not receiving a new band coming in, or speaker. I treat artists just like CEOs doing keynote presentations. They're the rock star. They're the most important person in the room at that point. And you want to make sure that they're going to be on time with everything they need to provide the experience to whoever they're going to be presenting or singing or whatever in front of them. Punctuality, and so that's where the 2 minutes piece, detailed, but not overly excessive. You'll run into people that are way OCD, they have binders of all these detailed things, contact information. No, you don't need all of that. There is a certain limit. You need to be able to store a lot of this in your head as well. So when people ask, like, when's an event? I'll tell you, May 23rd. Where is it? The JW Marriott. What time is it? 5:30 to 7:30. Love to have you there. Oh, by the way, you should meet this person. They're going to be coming over as well. I'll introduce you when you're there. Just all of these things have to constantly be in your head. That's why. Top 5 most stressful jobs. Starting to believe it now? Quick responder. Time is of the essence in terms of your planning. 3 to 6 months, yeah, you have a little more leeway. But as you start getting to the week of, you want to make sure that everybody's showing up on time. You want to make sure you're running shows on time. If people are going to respect you as an event professional communicating, you got to be like that on responding. Because maybe there's a shipment being delayed. I've had so many times when I was running trade shows for Xenos where, like, where's my shipment? Where's my booth? Where's my booth? Oh no, where's my booth? I once had to start a show in San Diego with no booth. It's painful. You know where it was? They took it away because I had a label, like, mislabeled on it. They put it in storage before I even got to it. So it took me 6 hours to get that damn thing back. But I had caught it earlier if I was a quicker responder. Oh, I had to be a quick responder. I didn't already know where the exhibition booth, like the help checking in, so I was like, yell at me. They waived off all my shipping costs, which is nice. But in the end, to get that, don't be an asshole. That's another obvious thing, because the stress will make you bark at people sometimes. Maybe bark at an intern who's volunteering their time to be there. Or somebody more senior who's just doing the role because they want to feel like they want part of it, they want to contribute. Don't be an asshole. Say thank you. Eye contact, all those things. You're not above anybody in the space. You just got to be the coolest one in the space. You're going to be the one that everybody wants to come and say thank you to. So say thank you first. What else? So crowd navigation. That's just something I made up. But one thing that I've learned that I was good at since I was little is cutting through a room. So it'd be a crowded space, lots of people, and you're just like, I'll show you a couple tricks. Just open hand, if somebody's like facing away from you, open hand, small in the back, right here, like solar plexus. They just instinctively turn around, and you can just cut right through them. I also say like excusez-moi. I say like really weird like excuse me things in different languages. So they're just like, what? I'm already gone. But I can get through a room of like 150 people in less than a few seconds, faster than anybody else. Because it is a matter of minutes, a matter of seconds sometimes. So just understanding how the crowds are mixed, where the easiest points of entries are, exits, all those kind of things. I think that's the architecture in me talking, because I scan a room, a venue, I scan it before anything else, and just absorb where all of this stuff is. Because sometimes when you're setting up an event, it looks cool on a CAD when you have like, all right, the table's going to be here, stage is going to be here, this is going to be there, and then when you get there, you're like, it looks terrible there. Oh wait, there's another space over here I just thought of. It'll look great over here. Always anticipate something's going to happen that's wrong. Somebody's gonna totally screw it up. It might not be. It'll be out of your control. Something will always happen that you have to fix. So you got to be quick thinking. You got to understand the space, and you got to know around who's going to be around you to help you do that. So don't be an asshole. That's really all I got. That's really all I got right now. So how much time have I got? What are we doing?
You got 12 minutes.
12 minutes. Perfect. Let's get this Q&A. Because I know there's more specific questions you have, and they told me I need to give you all some time on that. So I want to hear it. It can be very generic. It can be laser focused.
You, earlier in your talk, you mentioned running around to different trade shows, tabletop.
Sure.
Could you talk a little bit about maximizing those opportunities?
Yeah.
When you're in that crowded space, how do you engage people? I've done a lot of things like even just going to trade shows with my product and just going from booth to booth as well. So,
Right.
but when you have that table and the resources.
Sure. So is it just you? Just you. What's your engagement strategy prior to an event?
An event where I'm
You're gonna be at. Yeah. Thank you for coming.
So social media a little bit.
Social media, any strategic marketing that you're doing by
I've done
email, those kind of
giveaways.
things, giveaways.
Yeah. Like sign-ups.
Sure.
Things like that.
This is what I have done in the past, and it took me a while, and after like a couple years of improv classes to do it, but I would do this. I'd have a raffle at the very end. You get a show at the very end for it. Have some really cool giveaway. Encourage your partners or friends, people you already know is going to be there, to make sure that they're there. But you're going to wait till the very end of the trade show close, or maybe during the happy hour. Because there's always an opening happy hour. There might be like a mid one halfway through the conference, and then there might be a closing one. So what I did is, this is 2015. Hoverboards were a big deal. So I bought like 3 hoverboards for our next 3 conferences, and I always promote, hey, here's a raffle ticket. Stop by the booth. We'll get you a badge scan, and here's a ticket. Come here at 5 o'clock, close of trade show, last day. We're gonna give it away. And then also a ton of other things too. I always have like gift cards and those kind of things. So start like real cheap, like Starbucks gift cards, Spotify, Netflix, all the fun ones, all the fun ones. And I'd get about 150 to 200 people show up at our little 10 by 10. And I'd get on a little box. I'd rent out from the PSAV guys who charge you an arm and a leg for the PA system so everyone can hear me. That's another thing too. If you want to present in front of people, you're going to need something to elevate on, especially if you have a crowded room as well. You need something a little bit of stand, maybe just like a soapbox. You can ship a soapbox with you, a little crate. That way you can just elevate and make eye contact with everybody. Because that's going to be the difference between having 150 people all looking up and waiting for you to give out the hoverboard versus just like, what are y'all doing? Just a bunch of heads. This is stupid, I'm leaving. It's the biggest, it's really just like 2 feet, 18 inches can make the biggest difference just on visibility and experience. Because your voice starts catching too. So those are little things. If you have a team, it's going to be up to them to prospect those people in the pipeline, to nurture that. Say, hey, I'm going to be there, or our CEO is going to be there during the happy hour. Love to have you there. We can have a quick 15-minute meeting over here in the space over there, those kind of things. So be very strategic. And we can talk a little bit more about that kind of thing too, because I'm curious to see what trade shows you do.
Building on more on the trade show stuff, we've done the trade show circuit a bit. It's pretty expensive. I don't see a ton of return if we're just on like sales.
Sure.
But instead now recently what we've been doing is getting speakerships. So because then I get to go to the trade show for free, and sometimes they pay me, which is great. And then I have captive audience for an hour and a half, or an hour or whatever. So my question with that though is, what's the best slot to get, and how do you drive people to your talk? And also, I've got a talk coming up next month, and how do I drive people to go to that? It's okay that that gets paid for.
Okay, that's dope. So so a couple things. What's your name?
John.
John. Okay. And your name?
Shuchi.
Shuti?
Shuchi.
Shuchi. Awesome. Shuti and John. So a couple things. That's a great. Apply for the speaker slots. Like if you can, if you are very skilled on a certain topic that qualifies you not only to attend this event or sponsor this event on the exhibition floor, speak. Because instead of having to talk to one person one-on-one on the trade show floor day in, day out, you're talking to 150 or 300 or 1,000 all at once. And then they'll come to you. So, but how do you do that? How do you drive that? So think of the funnel again. Think of that funnel. 3 weeks out, start promoting, hey, I'm going to be here. Love y'all to come. I don't know if they give you discount codes, but say, hey, I only have so many discount codes or whatever. I want to give it to you first. People that you really want to be butts in the seats.
I should ask for that.
Yeah, you should. You should. Totally ask for some discount code, a couple comps. Ask for a couple comps. It's okay to ask for comps. They spit those out. They spit those out. Ask for a couple comps. Bring somebody to do content for you. Maybe it's an intern. Maybe it's your girlfriend. Maybe it's your mom. I don't know. But bring them and make sure that they're taking photos of you in this engagement experience. Because you roll that speaking opportunity, use that as a way to promote yourself later on for the next speaking opportunity. Because now you've been you've been verified. It's been proven. I've actually spoken at these events. There's a photo of it. See? I'm like this. So those are little things. 3 weeks out, really hype it up. Try to hype up the topics. Maybe even provide some light recaps, like maybe like a little 10 or 30-second blurb that you can stream off your phone or any of those kind of things. You really want to engage an audience in that way. So you're like, hey, this is a topic I'm going to cover. It's from, it's from 1 to 2. Usually after lunch, because you asked John about time slots after lunch. Because me, a lot of times when I'm going to a conference, I'm not going to see a single morning session. There's just too many happy hours and free food and interesting things to do at the end of the day. So you want to do something after lunch. That's where you're going to get the maximum amount of people. A lot of people that come to conferences as attendees, they want to knock out all their calls, emails, and meetings in the morning because they want to get out. They want to get out and actually enjoy the conference. So anything after lunch would probably be good. Okay. And if they do have like luncheon, like sit and like lunch and learn sessions, try and see if you can take those too. But if you're paying for a sponsorship, those are one of those tiers. Like, always see if you can apply. Have a couple topics. I have like this one's like I got that guerrilla marketing talk for music brands. There's this event marketing talk. Have a couple things. Like I can talk about all of these different topics. I'm really good at it. Here's some past experience maybe, and then you can use that for the next time you apply for a speaking position. So yeah, I have a few ways on it. One, two, and then maybe you can tie into Shuchi. Yes! All right. You can tie into Shuchi's things like, all right, well, by the way, we got booth 1223. We got a giveaway. Stop by the booth at the end of the thing. Yeah, you just plug, right? So those are little tie-ins, little callbacks that'll get people back to the booth. And then even say, I'll be there during the happy hour if you want to come talk to me some more, if I don't get a chance to touch base with you here. Cool? Yeah. Right on. What else? Hit me.
So sponsorships, right, for events, I know other than a descriptive packet, which they usually expect, and no press kits and stuff like that, what are some other tips and pointers on one, who to approach, how to approach them, and how to lock it down?
So the question is basically how to secure sponsorships?
Yeah, basically.
First time, you're probably not going to get a single sponsor for the first time you do an event. You might. But usually you want to build as many brand relationships as possible. So if there's a venue that you always work with, just promotional partners. Like you can call them a sponsor. You can say that because they're giving you the free space, or they're taking a chance on you and thinking you can bring people in, and the same thank you piece. It's just like, yes, these are our partners that we've had. Maybe for that second event that you do under the same formula, maybe you bring in some kind of food and beverage sponsor. Food and beverage always go a long way, especially a lot of breweries or eateries that are just launching. Most of these food and beverage brands in the first year just make it rain with product. So you approach them like, hey, this is what I do, this is my demographics, this is who's coming, these are the people I'm promoting, I'd love to have you. And yeah, we'll have you like front and center. So if there's in-kind sponsorships that you can get, which again, there's no cash exchanges for the first few events, those are the ones you want to look for. Then, once you have enough brand logos to show of like, hey, these last 3 events, we've had like all these brands show up. We'd love to have you on. They're like, cool, how much you want? 10,000.
So like cloud.
Yeah, you gotta build the cloud. And then that's where the content piece and the churning of the content really, really pay off. It may not be tomorrow. Usually our close cycles at Xenos are about 18 months, sometimes 3 years, because they're dealing with massive enterprise companies. But if you can track it at the beginning, John, you you met that person. I met John at the VMware conference in March of 2016, and I closed him in December of 2018. But it's still attributed. And the investment will pay off in the end.
Yeah, that's what we found is, because
Your close cycles, right?
well, some of these trade shows are for basically the one that we still table at is those are all the influencers and gatekeepers, and that's why we go there. And these are the people I need to suck up.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the attorneys and the bigwigs, and that's just to be seen, that we exist. And then I just got a call from one of them today.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the actual product ones, and those ones are kind of garbage because it's just nobody's going to buy it on a tape. Nobody's going to buy nobody's going to drop $70,000 on a table, right? And that's the kind of product that we're pushing.
Yeah. So I mean, it's you understand your buying cycle is probably something that many of you are still trying to figure out, but that just comes with practice. And then that's where the market research comes into play too. If you're just going to attend and you want to be kind of sleuthy and scout the competition, that's an easy question to kind of segue in. Right? How long does it take you to get a customer, kind of thing. Especially if you're displacing something that already exists. Right. In that IT world, when I was at Xenos, they were always displacing something. It was a monitoring software for data centers, virtual and physical, and that was always the hardest part. Like, oh, we're on Tivoli. I'm like, ugh. But it's going to take a massive amount of effort for them to just shift over from this crazy complex infrastructure to something new and novel that we provided. And we were just very conscious of that. What we try to do with events is not only get that net new business, but accelerate the pipeline. So shortening that buying cycle from 18 months to 10 to 5. Maybe by the end of it, we're getting so good, we're closing deal number 4. Like it'd be one of our high-end sales reps would just be like, all right, let's come over here. I'm glad you came for the happy hour. All right, let's get the deal done over here. But it took them following around like 2 or 3 trade shows for that to happen. But so it's possible. So yeah, understanding buying cycle, I guess, is probably the first thing you kind of hammer out.
How frequently can you do events before you kind of burn out your audience? Like, if you have a really cool party in the spring, you have to wait a whole year and do another spring party?
You can do 2 a year, I would say.
2 a year?
You can do 2 a year, because that way there's a seasonal cycle that you can follow. Like, let's say you just throw it all down for a dope South by party and you buy up native. You can do that. It would be fun. But just understand that if you are throwing it all down, really like maximize that all the granular details you need to get about your buyers, your customers, your fans, your employees. Sometimes you want to celebrate the employees too, and your employees in the end are going to be the biggest champions. You want them to believe the Kool-Aid by the end of it. And events are a good way to do that, especially for your top performing employees. So by the end of it at Xenos, we'd have competitions for some of our highest devs, like, hey, you perform at X amount of level, we're going to pay for your flight, room, board to go over here and get some free training. And then, come enjoy this dope, like, happy hour party we're going to do. We did one for Cisco, where I got to buy out the Virgin Airlines box at the very back of what is it, the park. It's not Giants Stadium, whatever, but yeah, that park where the Giants play. And it was sick. It was really sick. And we had all the right people there too, but it was something that we had to continually build up. And they got, I forget the bands playing, it might have been Aerosmith, no, that was San Diego. But those are just little experiences you can provide.
When you're first starting and you don't have the big budget for like an Aerosmith or something like that, how do you generate that buzz around your party? Right? You can't just say, hey, free food and drinks. Like, that'll create some buzz, and that's like a dime a dozen. Like, are there kind of cheap things that you recommend that are impactful?
Yeah, there's plenty of interesting interactive things you could do, like interesting photo booths. For the Arlen Studios event this past year, these people just approached me out of nowhere. They basically screen printed your selfie, like with edible street ink, onto cookies. They would just take a picture on their phone, and yeah, you have a cookie. It was weird. You had a cookie with your face on it. But it was just one of those things that are like, yeah, I had those weird cookies, and they were good, but like, I don't know. I had to MC it as well, so I'd be holding the mic, and I'm like, it's a very small space, so I always play a game with people. It's called Pick Up Your Shit. And it's just look around. If there's crap on the floor, pick it up and take it to the trash. So my people working don't have to pick up your shit. and it makes it easier for us to wipe it down. But I'd be like, whoever wins, reach into my pocket, oh, really nice, showed up, gets a cookie with my face on it, and I'll tell you to eat me. And they got a laugh out of it. And yeah, I gave it to 2 people. They're like, I did it. I'm like, see, that's participation. But it's just a way actively engaging these people in a very personal and fun way for these kind of events. I don't know any of y'all's businesses, but I know I'm running out of time here in a second. But I'm going to stick around for like another 45 minutes or so. I got a Founder Institute session. I got to leave here in an hour and a half. So how are we at?
We're at 4:02 right now.
I'll take one more since what else? I don't know if you'll have anything else today.
Oh, so we're an education company and we're trying to reach more parents and get them signed up. What are some things you recommend?
Education for what?
To prepare kids for college or career after high school.
Okay. So yeah, you're looking at higher learning stuff. So yeah, most of our a lot of the events I'm saying they're not really family friendly, but there is an entire level of family friendly events out there that you can do. Think of seasonal things. Think of like Christmas, 4th of July, things where the family goes out to. How can you engage with families right then and there at activities they're going to bring the family to? You know. So I mean, go to where your audience is, and from an event standpoint, it seems like an interesting way to go about it. You could always come to our Boat Trail of Lights in December. Yeah, I'm telling that because it's a family-friendly event. That's like the one I do every year. So you're gonna get, and it's probably the right people too. Just that demographic. We're thinking about that particular event. Most of these people own boats, live on Lake Austin, Lake Travis, those kind of things, or they just like and they like Christmas or the holidays and those kind of stuff. So find your audience and just see where they enjoy themselves and spend that kind of time. And that's where you could set up. Pecan Street Festival as well. I have friends that run that one. It's twice a year. It's a seasonal thing where they kind of fill up all of 6th Street during the day. The spring one was just this past weekend. But that's another one of those family-friendly kind of events you do. That also think about, are you actively engaging parents or the educational professionals like the teachers and the
like both.
Both?
Yeah, but parents, like right now, we also try to like target parents specifically.
Gotcha. So there's that. Parents love Facebook. So there's some strategic marketing you could do off Facebook. I know my mom loves Facebook. After I started working there, she got an account, and now she's like awful at it. She's been like she's posting 16 times a day. I think everybody's mom does that. But yeah, we can talk more about it too.
Okay.
Anything else, Scott?
Do you know of any cool barber events in Austin? Have you ever heard of one?
Barber events?
Yeah, we looked and there's like nothing here. Like barbers to just
Like straight shave?
No, like
No.
barber showdown.
just like barbers hanging out. You know,
Really?
Drinking beer or something like that.
Oh, there's an opportunity for you to make one.
What?
Native actually had one they had early last year when they had just opened. It's their year anniversary this week too, so if y'all want to go in at a really crazy time, if you have some time, go to Native. It's like a shit show this week. But one thing that they had that I thought was dope was like Bird's Barbershop came and had a mobile barber station, and they did cuts and straight razor shaves at the event. I thought it was so cool. Well, yeah, those little things like that, where you may have to pay some upfront on the hourly, but they're going to make all their money off of tips. Those kind of things. Just be really interested in just, if you see something cool at an event, go talk to the vendor and be like, hey, can I get your card? I'm working on something. I'd love to have you guys here.
There's like Shed Barbershop here at a lawn party, and they have like free tattoos. You can choose from 8 of them, and you just get one for
You can get
free.
all tattoo people.
That was packed. Like,
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's just keep your eyes open. Again, hyper awareness is if you're at an event and you think that's cool, figure out how they got there. Talk to them. Get contact info. You never know what vendor might be a sponsor or a vendor at your event moving forward. I don't know.
Cool.
Is that it? Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, man.